Enter studio. Excuse me. I just ate. So it wasn't apple pie. Because last night I made this video about apple pie, right there. Oh, I'm getting ready. I think I'm gonna possibly be able to finish the book of what book is that? Second Kings. We'll see. God willing, I don't know. I think I can do it. Let me get it pulled up. Share. 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 Let me trip. I know I got that from a movie. What movie? I don't know. Uh, okay. That one right there. Share. Where did you get this from? Look, I don't know. Some movie. I don't know where I got it from, but I remember that was on the television. Shush. I need to stop. Okay, so it says Second Kings 20 verse 1. It says, in those days Hezekiah became sick. Already? But okay. It seemed like he just kind of came on the scene. But anyway, and was at the point of death. The prophet Isaiah, son of Amos, came to him and said to him, thus says the Lord, set your house in order, for you shall die, you shall not recover. Then Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and prayed to the Lord. Remember now, O Lord, I implore you how I walked before you in faithfulness with the whole heart, and have done what is good in your sight. Hezekiah wept. Oh, y'all can't even see because my camera was in the way. I'm sorry. I'm just in the read. I gotta focus. I gotta multi-focus. My bad. So it says in 3, remember now, O Lord, I implore you how I walked before you in faithfulness with the whole heart, and you have done and have done what is good in your sight. Hezekiah wept bitterly next verse, before Isaiah had gone out of the middle court, the word of the Lord came again, came to him. Highlight multiple cases, highlights, goings on around her. That's verse 5, right? Or 6? Yeah, 5. And thus says the Lord, the God of your ancestor David. Oof, I like it. I'm getting out my book at. Yes, sir. My pen way over that though. I'm gonna get that too. You know what I mean? Okay, everything. The pen, the verse, everything. What is it? Oh, okay. Verse 5. Mm-hmm. That was easy. I like these babies. Ayil Adam Yisrael. What's up over there? My computer's kind of far. I got 2 computers in front of me. One's closer, the other is smaller, and it's like farther away. So I was trying to look at those letters the best I could. You know what I mean? Hopefully I said everything right. You know what I mean? But what's up? Let me highlight. I got 2 highlights in verse 1. Set your house in order, for you shall not recover. And after he prayed, which I like, this is an interesting case. Um, verse 5, after the word of the Lord came to Isaiah, it says, turn back and say to Hezekiah, prince of My people, thus says the Lord, the God of your ancestor David. I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. Indeed, I will heal you. On the third day, you shall go up to the house of the Lord. I love it. I love it. Let me scroll down. My camera was in the way. I'm reading from the book. My bad, y'all. My bad. You know what I'm saying? I'll read it again for y'all. So, verse 5, it says, Turn back and say to Hezekiah, Prince of my people, thus says the Lord, the God of your ancestor David. I have heard your prayer. I have seen your tears. Indeed, I will heal you. On the third day, you shall go up to the house of the Lord. I will add 15 years to your life. I will deliver you and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria. I will defend the city for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. Okay, so let me highlight that too. You gotta look. You just gotta look. I don't see how people can forget this one. It's classic. Okay, 7. Then Isaiah said, Bring a lump of figs, let them take it and apply it to the boil so that he may recover. Hezekiah said to Isaiah, What shall be the sign that the Lord will heal me, and that I shall go up to the house of the Lord on the third day? Isaiah said, This is the sign to you from the Lord. That the Lord will do the thing that he has promised. The shadow has now advanced 10 intervals. Shall it retreat 10 intervals? Hezekiah answered, It is normal for the shadow to lengthen 10 intervals. Intervals, if I say that properly. Rather, let the shadow retreat 10 intervals. The prophet Isaiah cried to the Lord, and he brought the shadow back, the 10 intervals, by which the sun had declined on the dial of Ahaz. Verse 12. Let me see what you said. You said, you just tuning in. I didn't even read all you said. You said shalom and morning from Britain. Oh, Britain. What time is it over there? I know y'all like 7 hours away, I think. It's 6:45 a.m. Eastern time over here. I know y'all like, ain't y'all like 7 hours ahead or something? I can't remember. I spoke to somebody in Europe recently, and they was like, I think it was like 7 hours difference for me. I can't remember. 5 hour difference, something. It was 5 hours or 7. I can't remember. One of them. You said, I'm just tuning in. Britain boring. I'm glad to hear. Sorry, the way you said it, Britain's boring, but I'm glad to hear it. Words of God early in the morning. Okay, good. Appreciate that laugh. 11:46 a.m. here in Britain. So yeah, about a 5 hour difference. I knew it was 5 or 6. I can't remember which one. But yeah, okay. All right. Verse 12 is at that time, King Merodach, Baladan, son of Baladan, oh, okay, of Babylon, sent envoys with letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. Hezekiah welcomed them. He showed them all his treasure. Oh, I remember this part. Bad idea. Hezekiah welcomed them. He showed them all his treasure house, the silver, the gold, the spices, the precious oil, his armory, all that was found in his storehouses. There was nothing in his house or in all his realm that Hezekiah did not show them. Then the prophet Isaiah came to King Hezekiah and said to them, What did these men say? From where did they come to you? Hezekiah answered, They have come from a far country, from Babylon. He said, What have they seen in your house? Hezekiah answered, They have seen all that is in my house. There is nothing in my storehouses that I did not show them. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, Hear the word of the Lord. Oh, man, I remember this. This ain't going to be good. Whew. I might as well read what you said and keep. Oh, I did read that. Okay, cool. I'm caught up. Hear the word of the Lord. 17. Days are coming when all that is in your house and that which your ancestors have stored up until this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, says the Lord. Oh, man. Oh, man. Can't show people everything. I got to try to remember that myself. Keep some stuff a secret. All right, hold on. Nothing shall be left, says the Lord. 18. Some of your own sons who are born to you shall be taken away. They shall be eaten. Oh, man. They shall be Enochists in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then Hezekiah said to Isaiah, the word of the Lord that you have spoken is good. For he thought, why not? If there will be peace and security in my days. The rest of the deeds of Hezekiah, all his power, how he made the pool and the conduit and brought water into the city, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? Hezekiah slept with his ancestors, and his son Manasseh succeeded. Gosh, I could have went all day without this Manasseh. It's gonna get bad now. It's gonna get bad. Here we go. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready? Y'all might want to grab a drink. Manasseh is a trip. All right. Verse 1. Manasseh. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign. I didn't know that. I can't say I knew that. Let me read your comment real quick because Manasseh is a trip. Okay, you said History of Joseph the Carpenter is a great read. I think I read that. I can't remember. I read so many hidden books. I probably did and forgot. I read probably over 200 books, and I just stopped keeping count after a certain point. I used to write them all down. Like I had this long list, and I would write each book down that I finished reading, no matter what it was. It could be Dead Sea Scroll books, Nag Hammadi Library. As long as it was biblical and spiritual, once I finished it, I would write it down. But I stopped doing that because it was just too many. I just stopped. So I might have read it. I don't know. But it says Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 55 years in Jerusalem. That's a long time. His mother's name was Hephs. Oh, I know how I'm saying Ziba. Since they cut it off like that, I thought I can say Heaps Iba, but I'm gonna say Heaps Ziba. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, following the abominable practices of the nations that the Lord drove out before the people of Israel. For he rebuilt the high places that his father Hezekiah had destroyed. Okay. He erected altars for Baal, made a sacred pole. Okay. As King Ahab of Israel had done, worshiped all the hosts of heaven and served them. He built altars in the house of the Lord, of which the Lord had said, in Jerusalem I will put my name. Okay. That's what, verse 4? Verse 4. Verse 4. I have to highlight pretty much everything that God is saying. So, or that's a tribute to God saying, in Jerusalem I will put my name. So that's why I'm highlighting. Just so you know. Okay, so and verse, did I read all 4? I did. Okay, it says he built altars for all the hosts of heaven. In the 2 courts of the house of the Lord. He made his son pass through the fire. Wow. He practiced soothsaying and augury. Augury, I believe, is divination, by the way. And it says, and dealt with mediums, psychics, and with wizards. Dang. And he lived that long. Wow, okay. All right. God showed him mercy, I tell you. Anyway, he did much evil in the sight of the Lord, provoking him to anger. I like this. This is a good case for evil people that live long. Mm-hmm. He lived a long time. 12 years old and reigned 55 years, so he was over 60. I don't know how old he was. What's 12 plus? Is that 72? 10 plus 55 is 65 plus 2 is 67. So he was at least 67, if those numbers are accurate. Okay. 7. Then it says the carved image of Asherah that he had made, he set in the house of the Lord. Dang, really? I mean, he said in the house of which the Lord said to David and to his son Solomon, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, I will put my name forever. This boy is bold. This boy is bold. Okay. He's off the chain. So what verse is that? 7? And this, yep, this dude is off the chain right here. I didn't know he did that. Mm-hmm. It's something he did that I can't forget. I'll just go ahead and say it. He killed Isaiah. He sawed in half. That wasn't good, but it's so memorable. I can't forget it. It doesn't say that in the Bible, but it's a hidden book, the Ascension of Isaiah. Anyway, verse 8. I will not cause the feet of Israel to wander anymore out of the land that I gave to their ancestors. If only they will be careful to do according to all that I have commanded them, and according to all the law. Oh, he getting carried away. Oh, this pretty get good. I just thought about the consequences of him. Oh yeah, this pretty get good. Okay, so according to all the law that my servant Moses commanded them, 9. But they did not listen. Vanity misled them to do more evil than the nations had done that the Lord destroyed before the people of Israel. 10. The Lord said by his servants the prophets, because King Manasseh of Judah has committed these abominations, has done things more wicked than all that the Amorites did, who were before him, and had caused Judah also to sin with its idols. Therefore, thus says the Lord. Okay, 12, I gotta get that. The God of Israel, I am bringing on Jerusalem and Judah such evil that the ears of everyone who hears of it will tingle. I will stretch over Jerusalem the measuring line for Samaria and the plummet for the house of Ahab. I will wipe Jerusalem as one wipes a dish. Ooh, interesting. Okay, wiping it and turning it upside down. I will cast off the remnant of my heritage and give them into the hand of their enemies. They shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies, because they have done what is evil in my sight and have provoked me to anger. Okay, I'm gonna read what you said. In a sense, the day their ancestors came out of Egypt, even to this day. God don't play, dude. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read what you said. So that was from like the Lord said right here. Yeah, I think that was from 10 to 15. But they do not. Oh, I think he's talking all the way from 8. He didn't stop right there. Let me see. Mhm. Yeah, God didn't stop talking. Seemed like from verse 8. Because it says, but they did not listen, Manasseh misled. Okay, so it went on. 9 was the little separation. Okay, I see it. So 10 all that. The Lord said by his servants the prophets, because King Manasseh of Judah has committed these abominations, has done things more wicked than all the Amorites did who were before him, and has caused Jerusalem to sin with his idols. Therefore, thus says the Lord. Okay, so definitely, let me get out of that real quick. Uh, it's bad and it's pretty good. Mhm. Okay, now I can catch up with you. I think I'm about to turn the heat down because the heat is killing me over here. You know what I mean? Absalom was a trip too, but he was used to fulfill one of God's prophecies. Oh, let me turn this heat down. Heat down. I think I put it on 87. Whatever. Whatever. So who we at now? 16, I believe. 16. Time about fast. I'm gonna have to start reading earlier. I was gonna get on here earlier, but I was playing a game. I was trying to warm up game, and I'm like, look, I'm just gonna stay right here. That's what I was doing. But I think I'm about to start at like 5 in the morning, God willing, and like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm gonna get up and read. So you said, yeet. I've read the hidden Isaiah book, which explains how Isaiah was slain by Saul, ordered by Manasseh, his grandson, who was the reason Manasseh was born. Okay, good. King Manasseh, Abimelech, two of the wars, Israelites, two of live. I think I'm gonna bring my laptop closer. My laptop is far back. I ain't worried about it right now. Okay, let's see what else I can get done. You know what I mean? Before I leave, you know what I mean? Okay, so it says, moreover, Manasseh shed very much innocent blood until he had filled Jerusalem from one end to another, besides the sin that he caused Judah to sin, so that they did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. Now, the rest of the acts of Manasseh, all that he did, and the sin that he committed, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? Manasseh slept with his ancestors and was buried in the garden of his house. In the garden of Uzzah, his son Amon succeeded him. Amon, oh, okay. I thought Manasseh was going to get carried away. Maybe it goes into that in another book. We'll see. We'll see. But I remember in the Apocrypha, it was talking about how Manasseh was getting carried away and he prayed to God. That's what made me say it. I remember that. Amon was 22 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 2 years. Oh, he must have been doing bad. Yep. 2 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Mishulimeth. Wow, never seen that. Mishulimeth. Okay, daughter of Hiraz of Jotbah. Never seen that one either. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, as his father Manasseh had done. He walked in all the way in which his father walked, served the idols that his father served, and worshipped them. He abandoned the Lord, the God of his ancestors, and did not walk in the way of the Lord. The servants of Ammon conspired against him and killed the king in his house. But the people of the land killed all those who who had conspired against King Ammon. And the people of the land made his son Josiah king in his place, in place of him. Now the rest of the acts of Ammon that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? He was buried in his tomb in the garden of Uzzah, along with his dad. Sounds like, well, he didn't say he was with his dad, but it was whatever Bruce sounded like. Then his son Josiah succeeded him. 22 verse 1. Okay. I made it to 22. Okay, Josiah was 8 years old. Wow, I think he was the youngest to reign. Not sure. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jedidah, daughter of Adaiah of Boskoth. He did what was right in the sight of the Lord and walked in all the way of his father David. He did not turn aside to the right or to the left. In the 18th year of King Josiah, the king sent Shaphan, son of Azaliah, son of Meshulam, secretary, to the house of the Lord, saying, Go up to the priest Hilkiah and have him count the entire sum of the money that has been brought into the house of the Lord. Yeah, right. I agree with what you said. Let's see. Go up to the priest Hilkiah and have him count the entire sum of the money that has been brought into the house of the Lord, which the keepers of the threshold have collected from the people. Let it be given into the hand of the workers who have oversight of the house of the Lord. Let them give it to the workers who are at the house of the Lord, preparing the house, that is, to the carpenters, to the builders, to the masons, and let them use it to buy timber and quarried stone to repair the house. But no accounting shall be asked from them for the money that is delivered into their hand, for they deal honestly. The high priest Hilkiah said to Shaphan the secretary, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. When Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, he read it. Then Shaphan the secretary came to the king and reported to the king, Your servants have emptied out the money that was found in the house and have delivered it into the hand of the workers who have oversight of the house of the Lord. Shaphan the secretary informed the king, The priest Hilkiah has given me a book. Shaphan then read it aloud to the king. When the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Then the king commanded the priest, Hilkiah, Ahikam, son of Shaphan, Achbor, son of Micaiah, Shaphan the secretary, and the king's servant, Azariah, saying, Go inquire of the Lord for me, for the people, and for all Judah concerning the words of this book that has been found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our ancestors did not obey the words of this book, to do according to all that is written concerning us. So the priest Hilkiah, Ahikam, Achbor, Shaphan, and Azariah went to the prophetess Huldah, the wife of Shalom, son of Tikvah, son of Harhaz, keeper of the wardrobe. She resided in Jerusalem in the second quarter, where they consulted her. She declared to them, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, tell the man who sent you to me, Thus says the Lord, I will indeed bring disaster on this place and on its inhabitants all the words of the book that the king of Judah has read, because they have abandoned me and have made offerings to other gods, so that they have provoked me to anger with all the work of their hands. Therefore my wrath will be kindled against this place, and it will not be quenched. But as to the king of Judah, who sent you to inquire of the Lord, thus shall you say to him, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, regarding the words that you have heard, because your heart was penitent and you humbled yourself before the Lord, when you heard how I spoke against this place and against its inhabitants, that they should become a desolation and a curse. Ooh, love it. Okay. And because you have torn your clothes and wept before me, I also have heard you, says the Lord. Therefore, I will gather you to your ancestors. Ooh, killer. I gotta get that one. Wait a minute. Perfect. Perfect. Mm, 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 mm. I gotta get that one right there. That's 22, 20, right? Well, yep, that is it. That is it. Mm, mm, mm. They need to stop. They need to stop. Okay. Therefore, I will gather you to your ancestors, and you shall be gathered to your grave in peace. Your eyes shall not see all the disaster that I will bring on this place. They took the message back to the king. Chapter 23. Then the king directed that all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem should be gathered to him. Oh, I forgot to highlight all that. Look, I'm gonna keep going. I gotta highlight all. Hold on, baby. All right. I gotta figure out where it started. Huldah, the wife. There it is. She declared to them, thus says the Lord. Okay, got it. It's gonna be a lot. Well, not that much, but pretty much everything after that. Okay. Wasn't so bad. The reason I had to get verse 20 is because some people don't understand how reincarnation works, so I'm just gathering a bunch of verses for this reincarnation study. And I might present it one day because people think everybody is reincarnated. Some people think some people is reincarnated, but that's not how it works biblically. So some people don't know how that works. Chapter 23, verse 1. Then the king directed that all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem should be gathered to him. The king went up to the house of the Lord, and with him went all the people of Judah, all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the priests, the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. He read in their hearing all the words of the book of the covenant that had been found in the house of the Lord. The king stood by the pillar and made a covenant before the Lord to follow the Lord, keeping his commandments, his decrees, and his statutes with all his heart and all his soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. All the people joined in the covenant. The king commanded the high priest Hilkiah, the priest of the second order, and the guardians of the threshold to bring out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels made for Baal, for Asherah, and for all the hosts of heaven. He burned them outside Jerusalem in the fields of the Kidron. That's good. And carried their ashes to Bethel. He disposed the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to make offerings in the high places at the cities of Judah and around Jerusalem. Those also who made offerings to Baal, to the sun. Man, it was like the Egyptians. What they said to the sun, the moon, the constellations, and all the hosts of the heavens. Wow. He brought out the image of Asherah from the house of the Lord outside Jerusalem to the Wadi Kidron, burned it at the Wadi Kidron, beat it to dust, and threw the dust on it on the graves of the common people. He broke down the houses of the male temple prostitutes, good, that were in the house of the Lord. Wow. Where the women did weaving for Asherah. He brought all the priests out of the towns of Judah and defiled the high places where the priests had made offerings. From Geba to Beersheba, he broke down the high places of the gates that were at the entrance of the gate of Joshua, the governor of the city, which were on the left at the gate of the city. The priests of the high places, however, did not come up to the altar of the Lord in Jerusalem, but ate unleavened bread among their kindred. He defiled Topheth, which is in the valley of Ben Hinnom, so that no one would make a son or a daughter pass through fire as an offering to Molech. He removed the horses that the kings of Judah had dedicated to the sun. Wow, I never heard that before. That's a new one to me. Okay, so he removed those. That's good. At the entrance to the house of the Lord by the chamber of the eunuch Nathan Malik, which was in the precincts. And it says, then he burned the chariots of the sun with fire. Okay, good. I'm cool with that. The altars on the roof of the upper chamber of Ahaz, which the kings of Judah had made, and the altars that Manasseh had made in the two courts of the house of the Lord, he pulled down from there and broke in pieces, and threw the rubble into the Wadi Kidron. The king defiled the high places that were east of Jerusalem to the south of the Mount of Destruction, which King Solomon of Israel had built for Astarte, the abomination of the Sidonians, for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and for Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. He broke the pillars in pieces, cut down the sacred poles, and covered the sites with human bones. I do not remember that. Okay. Then it says, moreover, the altar at Bethel, the high place erected by Jeroboam, son of Nebat. Please tell me you got that. Who caused Israel to sin? He pulled down that altar along with the high place. He burned the high place, crushing it to dust. He also burned the sacred pole. As Josiah turned, he saw the tombs there on the mount, and he sent and took the bones out of the tombs and burnt them on the altar and defiled it, according to the word of the Lord that the man of God proclaimed. When, when Jeroboam stood by the altar at the festival, he turned and looked up at the tomb of the man of God who had predicted these things. And then he said, let me see, did I read that right? Yeah, when Jeroboam, okay. Stood by the altar at the festival, he turned and looked up at the tomb of the man of God who had predicted these things. Then he said, what is that monument that I see? The people of the city told him, it is the tomb of the man of God who came from Judah and predicted these things that you have done against the altar at Bethel. I think I remember that guy. He said, let him rest. Let no one move his bones. So they let his bones bones alone with the bones of the prophet who came out of Samaria. Moreover, yeah, that's the one I think about. Mm-hmm. The one that was killed by a lion, sounds like. Moreover, Josiah removed all the shrines of the high places that were in the towns of Samaria, thank God, which kings of Israel had made, provoking the Lord to anger. He did to them just as he had done at Bethel. He slaughtered on the altars all the priests of the high places who were there and burned human bones on them. Then he returned to Jerusalem. Dang, I didn't know all that. Well, some of that. The king commanded all the people, keep the Passover to the Lord your God as prescribed in this book of the covenant. No such Passover has been kept since the days of the judges who judged Israel, even during all the days of the kings of Israel and of the kings of Judah. But in the 18th year of King Josiah, this Passover was kept to the Lord in Jerusalem. Moreover, Josiah put away the mediums, wizards, teraphim, idols, and all the abominations that were seen in the land of Judah and in Jerusalem, so that he established the words of the law that were written in the book that the high priest, the priest Hilkiah had found in the house of the Lord. Before him there was no king like him, who turned to the Lord with all his heart, with all his soul, and with all his might, according to all the law of Moses, nor did any like him arise after him. Still, the Lord did not turn from his okay. Still, the Lord did not turn from his fierceness of his great wrath, by which his anger was kindled against Judah, because of all the provocations with which Manasseh had provoked him. The Lord said, I will remove Judah out of my sight, as I have removed Israel, and I will reject this city that I have chosen, Jerusalem, the house of which I said, my name shall be there. He still had to get him. That's right. He still got to get him. I gotta highlight that 26. Oh man, you ain't gonna forget. You ain't gonna forget. Just because they was doing good at that moment. The people of the past, they still had to get it. Somebody had to pay. Okay, so I'm gonna catch up with you and keep reading. I might get it. I'm gonna try to finish all this before I go. God willing. I got after this chapter. I think the last chapters is 25. I'm trying to knock that out. You know what I mean? So you said, I'm glad to hear you believe in reincarnation. Some practicing Israelites don't believe in reincarnation. I'm aware that reincarnation biblically is called regeneration. Okay, well, I don't call it that. I still call it reincarnation. It's just a certain way that I believe it happens based on the scriptures, but some people got these other beliefs. So, and a lot of times it's off. It's not 100% accurate. So, over time, as I see stuff, I just be like, oh, reincarnation, like, let me get that. And I would just always make notes here and there. I got so many just spread out through all my notes. If I combine it all, I have a huge study to present, but I got to go through and find it all. So as I read, when I see stuff, I'm like, oh, let me get that, put it for that. I just keep getting them, So 28. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? In his days, Pharaoh Necho, he's gonna die. Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up to the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates. King Josiah went to meet him, but when Pharaoh Necho met him at Megiddo, he killed him. His servants carried him dead in a chariot from Megiddo, brought him to Jerusalem, and buried him in his own tomb. The people of the land took Jehoahaz, son of Josiah, anointed him, and made him king in place of his father. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. His mother's name was, Hamatal, daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. Yeah, I figured. He only reigned 3 months, or however long. What's that? 3 years? Yeah, 3 months. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, just as his ancestors had done. Pharaoh Necho confined him at Riblah in the land of Hamath, so that he might not reign in Jerusalem, and impose tribute on the land of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, son of Josiah, king in his place of his father Josiah, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. But yeah, I think they're going to go into captivity. But he took Jehoahaz away. He came to Egypt and died there. Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold to Pharaoh, but he taxed the land in order to meet Pharaoh's demand for money. Mm, sound like us, sound like USA, a little bit to a degree. He exacted the silver and the gold from the people of the land, from all according to their assessment, to give it to Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zebudah, daughter of Pedadiah. Pedadiah. Dang, I said that wrong. Pedaiah. There we go. Of Rumah. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, just as all his ancestors had done. 24 verse 1. In his days, King, oh, yep, he going into captivity. It's time. Okay, here we go. In his days, King Nebuchadnezzar. I'm going to just explain this and keep going. So the reason I pronounce it this way is by the spelling. You got any, knee, B-U, boo, C-H-A-D, Chad, and then Nezzar, Nezzar. So I say Nebuchadnezzar. Some people, well, when I first heard this name pronounced, they said Nebuchadnezzar, but I'm like, wait a minute. Over time, I was looking at the spelling, I'm like, no, that ain't Nebuchadnezzar. That's Nebuchadnezzar. I'm like, they ain't even pronouncing the D. But anyway, that's why I say it that way. So King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came up. Jehoiakim, became his servant for 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him. The Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldeans, bands of the Arameans, bands of the Moabites, and bands of the Ammonites. He sent them against Judah to destroy it. Wow, dangerous. According to the word of the Lord that he spoke by his servants, the prophets. Surely this came on Judah at the command of the Lord, to remove them out of his sight, for the sins of Manasseh, for all that he had committed. I think I'm going to have to get this and send it to somebody. That's verse 4 of 2 Kings 24. I think that's verse 3, right? Truth came on the men of the Lord. Yeah, verse 3. Okay, got it. Did I read all 3? I'm not even sure I read all. Wait, I think I did. Surely, just in case, 3 again. Surely this came on Judah at the command of the Lord, to remove them out of the sight, for the sins of Manasseh, for all that he had committed, and also for the innocent blood that he had shed, for he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, and the Lord was not willing to pardon. Thank God. Thank God. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. Man. 5. Now the rest of the deeds of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? So Jehoiakim slept with his ancestors. Then his son Jehoiachin succeeded him. The king of Egypt did not come again out of his land. The king of Babylon had taken over all that belonged to the king of Egypt, from the Wadi of Egypt to the river Euphrates. Excuse me, I can't say I knew that. Jehoiachin was 18 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Nehushta, daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, just as his father had done. At that time, the servants of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came up to Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came to the city, while his servants were besieging it. King Jehoiachin of Judah gave himself up to the king of Babylon, himself, his mother, his servants, his officers, and his palace officials. The king of Babylon took him prisoner in the 8th year of his reign. He carried off all the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house. He cut in pieces all the vessels of gold in the temple of the Lord, which King Solomon of Israel had made, all this as the Lord had foretold. He carried away all Jerusalem, all the officials, all the warriors, 10,000 captives. Oh, that's a lot. All the artisans and the smiths. They probably had to walk too. I don't know, because it was a lot of them. No one remained except the poorest people of the land. Um, okay. He carried away Jehoiachin to Babylon, the king's mother, the king's wives, his officials, and the elite of the land. Ooh. Just imagine if that happened today in USA. According to this description, the poorest people would be left and the richest would be taken, basically. The elite of the land. So, don't sound good for these rich people. But um, he took it to captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. The king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon all the men of valor, 7,000, the artisans and the smiths, 1,000, all of them strong and fit for war. The king of Babylon made Mattaniah, Jehoiachin's uncle, king in his place, and changed his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Amatal. Might have to check out. Um, daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. Wait, what? Okay, that one I gotta check. Uncle. Okay, wait. Yeah, we gotta check that. Okay, I'm about to write that down right there. I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to word it, but basically, I got an issue with this one, and I gotta check another one. The main phrase will be Hamatal, daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. That's the part. Okay, I'm gonna come back to it. Okay, he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, just as Jehoiakim had done. Indeed, Jerusalem and Judah, so angered the Lord that he expelled them from his presence. Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. 25 verse 1. Okay, I'm gonna try to finish this. Yeah, might as well. And in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, on the 10th day of the month, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came with all his army against Jerusalem and laid siege to it. They built siege works against it all around, so that the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. On the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine, that's Ribe, right? Let's see. Ribe? Right, gotcha. Okay, the famine became so severe in the city that there was no food. Man, I think that's something kala hakala, maybe. I'm trying to learn certain words and remember them. Oh, no, that is not hakala. That's lacham. Oh man, I gotta try to remember that. Lacham. Okay, there was no food for the people of the land. Then a breach was made in the city wall. The king with all the soldiers fled by night by the way of the gate between the two walls by the king's garden. Though the Chaldeans were all around the city, they went into the direction of Araba, but the army of the Chaldeans pursued the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho. All his army was scattered, deserting him. And then they captured the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon at Riblah, who passed sentence on him. They slaughtered the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, then put out the eyes of Zedekiah, then bound him in fetters and took him to Babylon. In the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which was the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the bodyguard, a servant of the king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem. He burnt the house of the Lord, the king's house. I knew it was the house of the Lord that was burnt down, but I didn't know also the king's house too. So burnt the house of the Lord, the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem. Dang, okay. I didn't know it was all that. Every great house was burnt down. Oh, okay. Just the great houses. Okay. Didn't know that. All the army of the Chaldeans who were with the captain of the guard broke down the walls around Jerusalem. Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried into exile the rest of the people who were left in the city, and the deserters who had defected to the king of Babylon. All the rest of the population, but the captain of the guard left some of the poorest people of the land to be vine dressers and tillers of the soil. The bronze pillars that were in the house of the Lord, as well as the stands and the bronze sea that were in the house of the Lord, the Chaldeans broke in pieces and carried the bronze to Babylon. They took away the pots, the shovels, the snuffers, and the dishes for incense, and all the bronze vessels used in the temple service, as well as the fire pans and the basins. What was made of gold, the captain of the guard took away for the gold, and what was made of silver for the silver. As for the two pillars, the one sea, and the stands which Solomon had made for the house of the Lord, the bronze of all these vessels was beyond weighing. The height of the one pillar was 18 cubits, and on it was a bronze capital. The height of the capital was 3 cubits. Lattice work and pomegranates, all of bronze, were on the capital all around. The second pillar had the same with the lattice work. The captain of the guard took the chief priest, Seraiah, the second priest, Zephaniah, and the three guardians of the threshold. From the city he took an officer who had been in command of the soldiers, and 5 men of the king's council who were found in the city. The secretary, who was the commander of the army who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land who were found in the city. Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, took them and brought them to the king of Babylon at Riblah. The king of Babylon struck them down and put them to death at Riblah, in the land of Hamath. So Judah went into exile out of his land. He appointed Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, as governor over the people who remained in the land of Judah. whom King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had left. Now, when all the captains of the forces and their men heard that the king of Babylon had appointed Gedaliah as governor, they came with their men to Gedaliah at Mizpah, namely Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, Johanan, or Johanan, Jasaniah, son of, I think my phone vibrated. Oh, it did. Why? No, I don't know. Let me see. Jasaniah, son of Makathite, Gedaliah swore to them and their officers. Wait, did I skip a line? I did. And their men saying, do not be afraid because of the Chaldean officers, officials. Live in the land, serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with you. But in the 7th month, Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, son of Elishama, of the royal family, came with 10 men. They struck down Gedaliah so that he died, along with the Judeans and Chaldeans who were with him at Mizpah. Then all the people, high and low, and the captains of the forces set out and went to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldeans. In the 37th year of the exile of King Jehoiachin, dang, that's a long exile. Okay. Of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 27th day of the month, King Evil Merodach of Babylon, in the year that he began to reign, released King Jehoiachin of Judah from prison. He spoke kindly to him and gave him a seat above the other seats of the kings who were with him in Babylon. So Jehoiachin put aside his prison clothes every day of his life. He dined regularly in the king's presence. For his allowance, a regular allowance was given him by the king, a portion every day as long as he lived. Okay. Well, I learned some things. However, not go into what I need to look into right now. So I'm gonna have to do this later during the day. I gotta go to work. Gotta get ready. But I'm gonna get my new schedule set up better, God willing. I'll be doing this more on a regular now in the mornings, God willing. If I'm not reading live, I'm gonna still be reading off live, but I'm gonna still be reading. So it's gonna be my new schedule. I'll just get up somewhere between, I don't even know officially all the hours yet, but I think 5 in the morning to 8 will be good. I don't know if I'm gonna get up as early as 4 in the morning. I don't know, maybe 4 to 8, but it's gonna be something like that. So if you see me, you see me. If you don't, you don't. But I'm still gonna be reading though. I gotta go back and look at something in 2 Kings 24:18 though. I gotta take this with me to work. Because I gotta get ready for work now. But it's good to have something to study and look through while I'm at work. So, and it's not too complicated. It could be just a Hebrew thing. I'll tell y'all what it is though before I leave, and then I'll get out of here. So I see what you said. You said great teaching. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. Thanks for joining me. Thanks to all who will watch and did watch. But in that one part, I think it was just this mixture of something similar to a previous verses in one of the Kings books. I think it's First Kings, like around 14 or 15. It makes it sound as if in the previous one that I ran across, it was 3 people involved. It was the mom. Her name was Maacah, daughter of Abai Shalom, and she was said to be the mother of, I think, Asa, and somebody else. I can't think of the other guy, but it was like the dad of Asa was also it was said that both of those two, imagine like a dad and his son, and then the mom of Asa's dad was said to be Asa's mom as well, if I said it properly. So if I confused anybody, I'm sorry, but basically it was like this. Asa, which was the son of this person, which was the son of this mom named Milka or Maka, it was said that his mom had she was the same mom as his son. And I'm like, how is that? And the reason for it was when you look into Hebrew for the word mom, it can also mean grandma, the word in Hebrew. So some translators put grandmother, some translators left it mother. And some people put it on the side note that is grandmother. Like that's what the KJV did. But so that ended the confusion for me. And I think it's a similar case with this story with what I just saw, but I never caught it until today. So I can't go over it right now with y'all, but I'm gonna do it as I go to work somewhere throughout the day. God willing, if I don't get to it throughout the day, then I'm gonna just have to do it when I get home tonight. Or maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know. I'm gonna get it done. God willing though. But I'll see y'all soon, God willing. Okay, I'm out of here. That was good though.